Hello viewers, how are you doing today? I'm TIS Reloaded and I'm just going to be talking about something that has been anticipated for years. Almost a decade, and if you can't tell from the title, I am talking about Half-Life 3 or Half-Life 2 Episode 3. Now, as I said, it's been a decade since Half-Life 3 was first contemplated as a theory with concept art and concept storylines and stuff like that. And I just wanted to update about the situation because some people could have been turned off by now, even from as much as 2010. It's now 2016 and we still don't know much about what's going on, so I'm just going to start off by saying nothing's happening. Valve are staying very quiet about this game if they're working on it, which leads me to believe that they're not working on it at all, or they are doing an exceptional job of hiding it from everyone. So I'm hoping it's the latter and the fact that they are hiding it, but nearly a decade's worth of work, it's quite a long time for a game, and I don't think I know of any other game that does something like that. And I know a lot of games, but I don't know of a single game that took the best part of 10 years to get released. The only thing that I could even come close as of right now is something like Destiny or Team Fortress 2, which took years, or at least the idea was around for years before the final release, and still they're being updated to this day, so who knows, Half-Life 3 could be in that kind of territory, but hopefully it's not. We want Half-Life 3 to just be best game ever made sort of standards, based around the kind of hype that the community are sort of creating for it, shall we say. Another point to mention is that Valve are actually busy with other big titles they've done. Dota 2, Team Fortress 2, CSGO. These three games are what make Valve. They rake in a lot of money because people like to customize loadouts and characters. It gives a more personal feel to you, and hence why skins in CSGO are popular. And the reason why the Steam Marketplace exists is because people like to have a sort of personal feel to their game, whereas if you play something on a console, you're just literally dealing with one gun, with one skin all the time, and it kind of goes bland over time, whereas something like CSGO, you can customize your skin whenever you want to. And even though the gun still operates the same, it's that kind of client-side look that it has, you know what I mean? It's kind of like you want your own version of the game, and you want your guns to look the way you want them to, and hence why, that exists. But don't even get me started on CSGO skins, because I could talk massively negative stuff about that why that is and all that, but that's going to go off topic. So another thing I wanted to just bring up is the fact that fans could pick up the pieces and create projects of their own, which elaborate upon the Half-Life universe, since Valve are not giving any clear signs about working on a Half-Life game. I mean, all Gabe Newell has to do is just say, we are working on Half-Life 3, and there you go. We don't need to go into the Hammer editor and create our own maps and use the particle editor and whatnot. We can just sit back and chill. But no, Valve really are not saying anything about this. So I know there's probably fan-made projects out there, but I'm talking about new 2015, 2016 mods and projects that elaborate upon the Half-Life universe. So as I might have said, I could be completely oblivious to the fact that there are projects relating to Half-Life 3 or Half-Life 2 Episode 3. But I'm just saying it would be nice to see something that's new, or at least something that's been updated recently, since Half-Life 3 has been delayed for as long as it has been. And another thing, why not, instead of going forward, why not go back? How about a different perspective, like we play as Alex Vance when she's younger, before Gordon Freeman even arrives in City 17, or maybe some random person who helps Eli Kleiner in the period of the 7 Hours War, perhaps, and you get a bit more context to what happens in Half-Life 2. That would be something that I would pay for. Or even better, Half-Life 2 the way it should have been, which is literally the Half-Life 2 alpha, the Half-Life 2 leak, all of the cut content, the cut levels, the cut guns, the cut NPCs and whatnot, everything that was removed, just put into the game, and the default alpha storyline put in place with the darker Combine, the darker theme, the deader Earth, if that's even a word. But you know what I mean? That could be something that I would put money into. You know, that would be something that would be amazing. And I know that the Missing Information mod is trying to do that, but as far as I'm concerned, I've checked in on that mod for months and months, and it still has not had any sign of being put onto Steam. So that is really sort of annoying me, because I really like Missing Information. I have played it in the past, and it is pretty awesome. So I hope that gets released on Steam soon. And another thing as well, I keep saying another thing, I'm so sorry, but I've actually heard of a Half-Life movie being directed by J.J. Abrams. That, you know, it sounds like awesome, doesn't it? You know, I mean, could that be Half-Life 3? Valve are not making Half-Life 3 because they intend it to be a movie instead of a game. Like, would you, has that ever happened where a game installment has actually been converted into a movie? That could be something new, and that could be something that is revolutionary for the gaming industry, you know? But what is the likelihood behind that happening? And even if that is the case, I know it's not, but if that was the case, when are we expected to see such a thing? Don't think it's going to be anytime soon, but I think it's going to happen. And hopefully it is a lot sooner than I think, bearing in mind that it takes, you know, such a short time for the Star Trek movies to be released. Specifically between Star Trek Into Darkness and Star Trek Rebirth, is it? Or Reborn, whatever. Again, I never watched that newest one. I heard it was not very good, but I haven't watched it, so I don't know. So you never know. Half-Life 3 could be closer than we think, or it could be a million miles away. And as the fans and as the community, we need to pick up the pieces that Valve really have just left us, and we just have to go ahead and create our own sort of fan-made mods and stuff. But who knows, if Half-Life 3 could be announced tomorrow and all of a sudden explosion over the internet, because that's what's going to happen. And you never know, it could be VR, because Valve and I think it's HTC are working together to try and create VR games. Who knows, it could be a totally 100% VR game, and then that's going to be Half-Life 3. And to be honest, I would not want that to happen, because it's going to cost hundreds of pounds for the headset and possibly £40, $60 for the game itself when that gets released. And to think, if it's going to be VR, then it has to look good for VR. And I've seen sort of VR prototypes, and it doesn't really look that amazing as of right now. But what we need is, if Half-Life 3 is going to be 100% VR, it has to look exceptionally good. It has to look like the way Half-Life 2 did in the early 2000s when that was released, and that looked excellent, absolutely amazing compared to everything else that was released around it. That's what we need now, something that looks splitting image, splitting image like real life, literally. You can't tell the difference. That's what we need. That is what we need. So overall, it's just speculative. Half-Life 3, I'm speculating about everything, and I'm hopeful that this is released. But regardless of the backlash they may receive, I don't know if they would actually take that chance. With this much time that's passed, you would think they have something good, right? And let's hope that the fans don't have to pick up the pieces and work on Valve's behalf for their gaming projects for the future. And in addition to this, let's see some films or something, you know, other mediums, TV, independent film projects or whatever, depicting events from the Half-Life universe. Even if it's, you know, something that's a tiny section of what happens, you know, I would love to see something like that released, as I said, around 2015, 2016, something that's new to keep the series alive, you know. But again, I don't even know if that's happened. I don't even know if that's going to happen anyway. So all I'm doing is just hoping and praying and believing that Half-Life 3 is actually going to be made. I don't know if it is. And if it is, let's hope it's sooner than we may think. I even found a news article saying it could be 2017, 2018 sort of time release. But again, that's from a source. It's not like going to be a very credible source. But that's where I'm going to end this. I've talked for about 10 minutes now. Hopefully you've enjoyed my ramblings and such, and let me know what you think. Leave a comment. What do you think about Half-Life 3? Do you think it's going to be made? Do you think it's not? And if Valve are going to do something, what do you think they're going to do? Except for sort of Dota 2, Team Fortress 2, CSGO stuff. But anyway, I have been TIS Reloaded. Thanks for listening to me ramble for about 10.5 minutes. I'll see you in the next video, whatever it happens to be. See you later.